So this is Adarsh Khan Shukla. I am from Barabanki, Uttar Pradesh. I have been born and brought up in Barabanki itself. I graduated from National PG College, Lucknow, and I graduated in BSc. Once I was done with my BSc, I decided to actually I decided earlier, but during my BSc, I did not get time to prepare for the civil services. So once I was done with my civil BSc, I decided to prepare for the examination. And due to some reason, I could not start my preparation immediately after 2018 when I graduated. So I started my preparation in 2019 January. So it is around 1.5 years journey for me. And 2020 was my first attempt. And my experience with this journey has been very wholesome, I'll say. Though I have very limited experience of this entire examination process, but I learned a lot of things, and I just want to assure everyone that one of the problems that I faced initially was that I live in Barabanki and I had to prepare from Barabanki itself. I had the choice to go to Delhi or to join any online coaching, but I decided कि ठीक है, let's just try from home. And, So after that, I decided to ठीक है, let's just start preparation. So from 2019 January, uh, I continued my preparation and I started with basics like spectrum and Lashmika, just like everyone does. And it was around February or January when I decided that okay, I'm going to take sociology as my optional. The reason behind taking sociology was that when I went to the syllabus of sociology and previous year question paper, I felt like this is something that I'll be interested in reading because initially I had thought that I'll go with physics as my option because of my BSc background. But when I went through the physics syllabus, I thought that the syllabus was quite huge, and due to some reason, I could not concentrate much in my last year of BSc. So I decided to take sociology as my optional, and right from the start, I studied with sociology as well as GS. I used to study sociology in the morning, and thereafter I used to study GS in the day. So I just went on preparing by myself, and in September or October, I guess, in October 2019, I joined a mains test series in order to test myself that where am I standing. And after that, from October to March, I kept on appearing for mains test. And after March, I decided to full-fledged prelims preparation. Although I was doing prelims preparation from January itself, but that preparation was like I used to appear in tests only. In the morning, I used to wake up and appear attempt two test of prelims, and then I'll study mains for the entire duration of the day. So in that sense, I continued prelims preparation in till April or May. And then the news came that prelims are going to be postponed. Then again, I started doing mains, and I attempted some tests. So this has been my journey. I'll say that one thing that this journey has taught me is that uh, we have to break the cliches which are associated with the UPSC. In my case, the cliche was that you had to go to Delhi. I belong to Barabanki. I do not remember anyone from Barabanki who was in the civil services preparation. So initially, I did face some difficulties, and I used to just like message every toppers like everyone does, and used to ask that what their experience was, how can I prepare for the examination. But just like everyone else, I did not get responses that easily. So I decided that okay, let's just try it by myself. And in some sense, it did work because I am a kind of person who does not like any sort of coaching or something because I do not like being dictated what I have to read. So in that sense, not doing coaching worked for me. And it was only after mains when I did my mains in January 2021. After that, I came in touch with various aspirants because I downloaded Telegram and then installed it. And after that, I came in touch with the most importantly Adit Bhaiya, the one who is also a member of this community team. He was a superb guide, a great friend, and a great motivation for me. So this is my journey. If anyone wants to ask any question or something that I might have missed, you can please ask.
Yeah, others they will ask at the end of the session, so you can carry on regarding prelims, mains, and optional strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So initially, I decided that I'll do mains first, and then I'll do prelims. So right from the start, I focused on the mains preparation first. But even before mains, what I decided was that first Spectrum and Lakshmikant. These two books I had to read very carefully. So I did Lakshmikant, I think twice or thrice, and then I did Spectrum twice, and then I decided that okay, now I can proceed to main syllabus. So I decided to take GS2 first. I did GS2 first, and then I did GS3, and thereafter I did GS4, and then I did GS1. All this preparation I did while taking my test series, mains test series, and I just used to write test and then prepare accordingly according to the schedule of the test. So my entire mains preparation has been through test series only, especially after joining test series after October 2019. My schedule was fixed that okay, I had to do according to the test series, and even if someone is not able to join test series, that is. Can I proceed?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. So
Sir,
I did
tell me
mains
about
first.
the strat.
Okay. I'll be coming to that. I'll be coming to sociology strategy. Okay, I'll be coming to that. So right from the first day itself, I guess after doing my Spectrum and Lakshmikant, I decided to take sociology along with my maths preparation. So in the morning, I used to devote like 2 to 3 hours for sociology, and then I used to do main syllabus for the GS. Sociology, I initially did from Sangwan. I found that book to be very good, especially for the base material. Sangwan was quite good and comprehensible too. Once I was done with Sangwan, what I did was that I still remember I had not completed paper 2 at all. I had done only paper 1, and I decided to join a test series in Vikas Sir's Trump Fires. It was around January 2020, and I had no clue that what I'll write and what I'll not. But the sole purpose of joining the test series was that I knew that I was not quite interested in finishing paper 2 because I found that paper to be very boring. But I knew that once I'll join a test series, I'll have to study that paper somehow. So once I decided to join the Vikas Trump Fires test series in January 2020, I did my paper 2 preparation because of that impetus provided by that test series. For paper 2, I referred to Triumph's notes, which are available in PDF format. So after Sangwan, I did Triumph and I did only those topics from Triumph which are not covered very good in Sangwan. For example, I remember that economy and society, which is a very small chapter, and that has been covered very well in Vikas Sir's notes. That has not been covered very well in Sangwan. And once I was done with these two sources, what I did was that I first of all made sure that okay, now I have some 150 200 word material on every topic of the syllabus. Now I have to just add value. Okay, Manshu. Okay. So now I had to add value, and in order to add value, I referred to Tusharanshu sir's notes, especially for paper 2. His paper 2 notes are quite good, and Akshat Kaushal sir notes for paper 1. And when I say these notes, do not get confused because I guess these both are around 250 pages plus notes, but you have to study only those topics which you have not studied that well in your conventional sources. So only those topics you have to touch. You do not have to cover from start to end for any value addition source. You have to do only those topics where you feel that your content is lacking. So someone asked, what are the pros and cons of sociology? So I'll just clear that out. For me, the pro was that first of all, it has overlap with the GS syllabus. It helps you in essay. And most importantly, it helps you to gain a perspective of the society around you. Once you read sociology, you start to see the world entirely in a different light. No, Chetan. I attempted paper 1 after reading Sangwan only when I joined the Triumph test series. As I said, when I joined test series, I had not completed entire syllabus. I had completed only paper 1. But once I had joined the test series, I got Vikas Sir's Triumph notes, And then I supplemented my Sangwan with the Triface notes, and later on I went for value addition. Okay.
Hello,
Diksha,
sir.
I'll come to that. Hello.
Sir, I am giving my attempt in 2022.
Okay.
But then I am preparing with the sociology, not yet started, but I want to take, can I take sociology optional coaching or just the test series and follow what sources you have said? I want to take it on Vikas Ranjan. The coaching or can I take the test series?
See, I do not
From
have any
Vikas
idea
Ranjan.
about coaching. How does he teach, or how does I teacher teach? Because I had not studied, and I had not referred to his lectures at all. But I did find his test series is good. But the con of that test series is that sometimes it takes too much time. The Vikasa takes around 13 to 14 days time. When mains is approaching, you can do vision test series. But when you are around 6 to 7 months away from the mains, then you can join Vikasa. But when you are near mains, you can do vision, because vision is a bit more professional, I guess. Even though Vikasa test series is also good, but he does get generic at the end of the test series. So I was talking about the pros and cons of sociology as an optional. The pro is that it helps you to gain a better perspective of the society around you. That helps you in writing essays, writing answers for GS1. Sometimes it helps in writing ethics paper as well, because you have the perspective of so many philosophers. But the downside is that it is not that easy to score. And the subjectivity in sociology is something that has been daunting for many aspirants, new material. And the only chapter that I found good in IGNOU was the very first chapter, the modernity wala chapter, and emergence of sociology. That chapter was very well explained in IGNOU. And I'll be very honest, I did stratification and 2 or 3 more chapters from IGNOU, and then I just discarded it altogether, because I am kind of a person who does not like too much sources around him. So I just used to take one source, and if I think that that's not my type, I used to discard it altogether without reading the entire source. So Diksha was asking that how can we avoid writing journalistic answer in sociology? Diksha, my opinion might be a bit unpopular, but I believe that first of all, we have to ensure that, okay, we have a general understanding of all the sociology topics, every topic which is there in the syllabus. And then I have read many students and aspirants have said that you have to write sociological keywords and that all that, like you have to write pauperization, mobility, and all these type of words we have to write. So you have to do that. But what we have to make sure that we do not have to force it. The sociological jargons that should not look forced. That should come with the flow. And I was someone who did not insert deliberately that keywords, and my flow naturally used to be like explanatory in nature. So there are 2 types of copies. Adit Bhai always used to tell me that. One that is very thinker loaded. There you'll have many thinkers and various heavy keywords, jargons. And the other will be the explanatory in nature. Like you will mention only 2 to 3 critics, and you'll explain the critics instead of explaining. Okay, Kingmaker, I'll come to that. So you have to decide what is your type. Whether you are the one who likes too many thinkers or who like to add values to answers by using these sociological keywords. But if those keywords do not come naturally to you, what you can do is that you can take the help of some very simple examples and some very generic examples. When I say generic, you do have to differentiate between sociological answers and GS answers. But what I mean is that you do not have to deliberately insert sociological jargons in your answer. For example, I remember someone, a student had sent me a copy, and what he did was that he introduced a government policy by saying that this is the legal rational initiative taken by the government, and that was very forced. I mean, these sort of things that we have to avoid. That deliberately we are.
Yes, please proceed.
So for avoiding journalistic answer, first of all, you have to have an understanding of every thinker which is there in the sociology, 6 in paper 1 and 3 in paper 2. Secondly, do not focus too much on thinking that, okay, I am writing too journalistic and all that. Once you have introduced 2 to 3 thinkers in your answer sheet, that's more than enough. And use the keywords which are used by the thinkers themselves. Like Talcott Parsons has used that ADAPCO wala, that achievement oriented, self and collectivity oriented, yes, sir. And okay, Sagarika, I'll come to that once I am done with this. So for keeping your answers more specific, you can use the keywords which are used by the thinkers themselves. Do not force them into the other, but what you can do is that you can just try and use them in your day-to-day answers or revision. For example, I used to forget about that elective affinity wala keyword in Weber. Someone told me that that looks very good, and I always used to skip that. And every time someone used to tell me that elective affinity wala word nahi use kiya apne, and I used to think that okay, yaar, next time I'll definitely use it. But if you see my copy, there were various other aspirants, various other students who used much more sociological jargons than me, but my score was a bit better than them. So I did not deliberately insert sociological jargons. Do that only if it does not disrupt your flow. Okay. So
yeah, Adarsh, there are
yes.
certain popular doubts from the students. You know, many
Okay.
people have failed prelims in multiple attempts. So how could you able to clear it in very first attempt? So just to tell the strategy, like some tricks or some other things, how to clear these prelims, which has become very difficult these days.
Sure. Harshdeep, that is enough. I mean, the Hindu newspaper and monthly magazine, more than enough. You do not need to do anything apart from that. Linking current affairs with sociological theories. Yes, that is a very good question. Current affairs को sociology से link करने का. See, you do not have to keep searching for the current affairs which are relevant to sociology. But what you can do is that you can use a very generalistic example. For example, there was recently tussle between Assam and Mizoram regarding the border conflict. You can simply use that in your regionalism wala example. For example, when I was writing mains examination, the COVID-19 pandemic was in full flow, and I remember that there was a question regarding the world system theory or something, and I wrote vaccine imperialism and data imperialism in that answer, because I thought that resonated with neocolonialism. So what you have to do is that you just have to keep your ears open, you have to keep your eyes open. You do not have to specifically search for the current affairs which are linked to sociology, because then what will happen that you will come with the plethora of examples in day-to-day newspaper, and then you will just end up collecting too much of that. So you just have to make sure that you introduce only those examples which are generic in nature, which can be understood by a layman. Like, as I said, vaccine imperialism, coal imperialism. I did not refer to sleepy classes much. I initially did some 1 or 2 lectures, but after that I did not refer to it. Okay, coming to that prelims preparation, first of all, I do not want to intimidate anyone, but what I did was that I had attempted like, I don't know I should say it or not, but everyone will be just intimidated, but I did around 267 tests for prelims. And I should just clarify that you do not have to attempt so many tests for prelims. 60 to 70 tests will be fine. But my mantra of clearing UPSC prelims was that you have to practice as many tests as possible, because now it is becoming a game of intuition rather than a game of knowledge. So you have to improve your intuition. Everyone reads the same book like Spectrum and Lakshmikant and Monthly Magazine Officer. But what helps there is the intuition and your ability to tackle the pressure which is there in the examination hall. And in order to tackle that pressure, you have to practice as much test as you can, and just try to practice those tests which have more unpredictable question, so that you can slowly learn the art of intuition, and you can slowly eliminate the options in those questions you do not have any idea. So you have to mark those questions correct where you do not have any idea. You can eliminate only 1 or 2 options. So I just advise that do basic sources first, and then supplement your sources with the test series. And test series mein bhi agar aap baithe ho and you are just analyzing your test series for more than 1 hour, that is futile, because I used to appear 2 tests per day, and I used to finish both the tests within 3 hours only. So I used to take test for 1 hour, and then for the next half hour, I'll just used to analyze that whether there's anything relevant to the UPSC or not, because sometimes some tests used to be so bad that not even a single question out of 100 was relevant to UPSC. So you got to have the skill to filter that out. So I'll say that do the basic sources first, and then just practice and practice. What was the next question?
Yeah, Adarsh, one more thing, some students were asking there was a lot of difficulty in studying current affairs. So what strategy
Okay.
did you follow to cover current affairs?
See, I did current affairs from the Hindu, and when I did not make any notes. I used to just read the Hindu newspaper, and after that, I just used to refer monthly magazine of Vision. That was it. I did not feel the need to do so much current affairs, because if you analyze the previous year prelims question paper as well as mains question paper, current affairs is a bit overrated, especially in the coaching circles. Current affairs is a bit overrated, and the questions which are asked in the UPSC are generally uh, related to static themes of UPSC. Only the background is correct. For example, if there is too much anti-defection news in the recent times, then you have to write what you have read in the static part of anti-defection only. You do not have to take notes of the current. How to make notes? You do not need to make notes of Vision Monthly magazine. I did not make. If you are someone who has the time or liberty to do, you can. But I personally avoided making notes. And coming to making notes, I just have to clarify that I do not like making notes at all. So I avoided making notes throughout my preparation. I only made notes for some topics of sociology paper 2 and some topics of GS paper 4. And I made notes for interview. Yes. So I made notes only for these topics, and rest I just used to highlight in those monthly magazine, or just made sure that okay, this is something that I'll forget. So I used to point that out. And apart from that, I did not make notes, because I thought that it was a waste of my time. Though it might differ from person to person. Some persons, some people love reading from notes and it helps them. Definitely go for it. But to me, that did not help much, so I did not make notes.
Yes, Adarsh, one more thing students are asking that there are multiple failures in prelims. So they were in cycle like preparing continuously for prelims, ignoring mains and their options. So what strategy should follow in such situation when you fail one or two prelims? Uh, so what is the strategy for next year when you fail in these prelims?
Um, See, failing in prelims itself is a blessing in disguise, I'll say. Because many a times I've seen students who go through mains, go through prelims, and they do not have any preparation of mains, and then they get eliminated in mains. And what they have is that they have very less time between the next cycle, and they get bogged down by the pressure. So once, if you see that you are not making through the prelims, what you have to do is just start with the GS4 paper. I say this to everyone: just start with the GS4 ethics paper, then do the optional, and then do the GS3 and 2, and keep GS1 for the last. For example, let's just say you fail in July or June, then in August, just start with GS4 paper. Do optional in September, October, and by the December, you should be done with the GS2, GS3, optional, and ethics. Now, from the January, do GS1 paper, and February, March, you should be done with your all the GS paper and your optional and ethics as well. And from the April and May, you should practice as many prelims tests as possible. I guess you should start in the mid-March itself, and just try to attempt at least one prelims test per day, and just keep on evaluating yourself, keep on testing your intuition, and that should be the rough outline of how you should proceed.
Yes, and one more thing that what strategy should we follow in answer writing? Whether we should write daily or is there any particular criteria to get 4 marks in mains?
Okay. So answer writing, say, I remember that someone had asked me that about thinkers in sociology. See, you do not try to bombard your answers with thinkers. I guess in the critique, 2 or 3 thinkers should be fine, and it depends on the demand of question. See, many a times I've seen guys who try to deliberately insert thinkers when the question does not demand so, and that looks very bland, to be honest. So you have to understand the core demand of the question, and the thinker should not disrupt the flow of your answer. For example, you are writing the critique or you are writing something, and for every third line, if there is a thinker, then obviously it disrupts the flow. What happens is the sociology aspirants said they think that okay, ye thinker to nobody would have heard about this thinker, and I'll just write this thinker and I'll get marks. But it doesn't work like that. Collecting the names of thinkers in order to in order for value addition, or to think that I'll appear very unique, is an idea which is time consuming and futile as well. You just have to explain your point, and that can be explained through any of the thinker. Okay, and for the answer writing, what I did was that I used to avoid daily answer writing because I believe that writing 20 answers in 3 hours is a different ballgame altogether. If you compare it to writing 3 answers or writing 2 answers, knock knees are not allowed in IPS, I guess, because I remember one of the guy had some issue with the knock knee when they were conducting the physical examination. You have to clear that. Sorry, I do not have much idea about that. So I was writing, I was studying about the answer writing. So try to write 5 to 6 answers per day. Okay, I'll come to that sociology book list. Try to write at least 5 to 6 answers, because only then you'll be able to get a grasp of what time you are taking, what is your content. And I usually did was I joined a test series, and if you cannot join a test series, no issues at all. You can practice at home. Just try to make sure that you not write 1 or 2 answers per day. That is like, I do not approve this at all. Just try to make sure write 5 to 6 answers and just see what is your speed, what is your quality, and do not go through your answer on the same day. Go through your answer on after 2 or 3 days, because in that sense you'll have an unbiased opinion of your answers. So when you are writing an answer, just do not pass a judgment on that very day itself. Another thing I want to tell everyone is that do not collect information about the answers before writing, because I have seen guys who just see question and then they'll collect information about on the internet about that question, and then they'll write answer. Do not do that. Accustom yourself to the uncertainty. The more you adapt yourself to the uncertainty, the more it will help you in both prelims and mains. Just get used to uncertain questions, be it prelims or mains. Do not get bogged down that what will happen. I do not know anything. I don't even know one word about that question. Just try to write anything that you can. So the more you accustom yourself to unpredictability, the more you will get benefited in UPS. Optional writing. How many hours? Okay. Yeah, I did only, I used to do 7 to 8 hours per day, because I remember it because my day was divided like 3 hours in the morning and then 2 hours and then 3 hours in the 3 shifts. So it was like 7 to 8 hours per day. 7 to 8 hours per day it was. And talking about the book list, see, for sociology, what you can do is that you can do Sangwan, and then I did Triumph IS notes. And as I mentioned, for paper 2, I found Tusharanshu notes to be good. For paper 1, I found Akshat Kaushal notes to be good. Not all the topics, only for the limited topics that were not that good covered in these sources. So I did these 4. And apart from that, what I did, I used to supplement my answers with the relevant suggestions from the test series. I did both Vikas sir and Visionized test series. Vikas sir was good in the sense that he used to provide sometimes some very good insights on sociological perspective. But Vision was a more professional in that sense. So these are the pros and cons of these 2 test series. And talking about when you should join a test series, that's a completely personal opinion. What is your extent? What is your level of preparation? What is your financial status? Then you should decide. Since I had decided that I'll not join any coaching, so I had decided that, okay, I'll be joining 30 test series. If you are not comfortable in sociology, or if you have not completed your optional, or if you are not confident enough, then you do not need to join test series before 4 to 5 months of base. Just try to accustom yourself to sociological topics, sociological syllabus. And after prelims also, you can do the test series, no issues at all. Book list for paper 2. See, not having peer groups is very good. I can guarantee you. It's the best thing that can happen in UPSC preparation. And you can evaluate your answer by checking those answers or comparing those answers with the topper copies. What you can do is that just download any topper copy from the internet and practice those answers which are written by the topper himself or herself. And then once you are done, then compare your answer with the toppers. Okay, that will help you in forming a reference for your answers. So in that way, you can attempt those questions which are attempted by the topper and then compare those answers. Book list for paper 2. No need to study Lakshmikant entirely. I mean, after non-constitutional bodies, none of the chapter is that important. Tribunals wala that is important. and just go to the UPSC question papers, and you'll know for yourself that what is important and what you do not need to study. So I was talking about the paper 2. See, Gaurav, that depends on you. That depends on you. If you are giving 3 hours daily, I guess in 1 month you should be done with your first reading of paper 2. For the sources of paper 2, Sangwan should be your primary source. Your secondary source should be Tusharanshu and Vikas's time-wise notes. Time-wise notes are quite good in paper 2, especially the Kashmir chapter, quite good. And apart from Tusharanshu, time-wise notes and Vikas and answer notes, I guess 3 sources are enough. Just limit yourself to that and supplement whatever you can from the toppers copies or from the test series. You do not need to go beyond 3 sources in any paper whatsoever. I did Sangwan first, and the language that is used in Sangwan is quite lucid. Though there were some topics, for example, it took me a long time to comprehend what Talcott Parsons was trying to say. It took me a long time to comprehend that. You have to spend maximum time on the thinkers. For that, you can use YouTube. I used to go through YouTube extensively during my thinkers preparation. I used to see various lectures. You do not have to make notes. You just have to go through the mind of the thinker. That's it. So I spend maximum times in the thinkers. Actually, you can start with the thinker themselves. And for concept building, you can just go through YouTube, and you can go through you can just search on Google. There are multiple sources, and there are various underrated lectures that are there that will help you a lot. And I remember that there was this channel, I am forgetting the name, that was quite good in sociology, and that helped me in perspecting the grasping the perspectives of thinkers very better. I'll just share if I remember the link, but you can just go through YouTube, and that is not something that is very daunting. You should start with the Sangwan, because the language used there is very, very, very lucid for any beginner. And once everyone tries to study from like Vajiram or Nice IS, then they'll definitely feel difficulty. So limit yourself to Sangwan first, and you'll face minimal difficulty in conceptual understanding.
Yes, Adarsh, thanks a lot. So what will be the final message from your side to the young aspirants who want to clear this exam every year?
My final message will be just before prelims or before mains, what worked for me every time, right, in DSC and in UPSC as well, was that just take a rest a day before exam. Do not try to study anything before the main examination, be it prelims or be it mains examination. Just chill a day before examination, so that you are fresh, you do not have any baggage of any sorts, and just go there and express yourself. Do not try to emulate any topper too much. That topper read from that source, or that topper used to do that. Do not do that. There is a very, very, very minute difference between toppers and those who miss the list. Both are on the same page, or more or less. It's just about that they did something better than the other. All the best.